It had been almost 100 years since humanity stopped. Their entire beings just froze, and they all went into a comatose state. They never aged, yet their bodies slowly withered away. My kind, who had watched over the human race and many other races, we collected and placed them in small chambers where they could exist and we could watch over them without worrying about their ultimate fate. I was one of the few custodians watching over the slumbering humans who never needed any care, as their bodies seemed to sustain themselves off of nothing. Our kind had long since been able to see into the human mind. In their minds, each human had created their own world and lived in their own worlds in total bliss. Even though it was frowned upon, I spent my free time looking into the minds of the humans, just to see what they could come up with. My favorite was a male, given the code MCP1, which only meant that he was in Level M, Section C, Row P, Pod 1. In his mind, he was famous on something the humans called YouTube, reading scary stories that for some odd reason had been dubbed creepypasta. I had no idea where he had gotten this title, as I found no way in which pasta could be creepy. It didn't matter once work was over. It didn't matter though. Once work was over, I sat beside his pod for hours, listening to him tell stories that sent shivers down my spine. I hoped that one day in my lifetime he would awake and I could really get to know him as a friend and not some body in a tube. It's true, I knew some of his life through looking into his mind, but I never watched or listened to anything personal, just his stories. It was a little sad, him talking to his non-existent friends, who were just figments of his mind. I knew that they were probably in another pod, enjoying their own little worlds. I doubt he or any other human would accept our kind, simply because humans fear and usually destroy what they cannot understand. Not that our kind is much different from theirs, save for a few differences. Our skin is an almost unearthly white, a similar color to what humans call milk. We also have two horns protruding from above our eyes, which are a dark silver color. I hope that MCP might be different from other humans, considering what he could come up with. Small things made me believe he knew about his surroundings, and every so often could see us, mostly because of other species that help us take care of the humans. He calls one Slender Man, as this species is what we use to tap into the human psyche, to try and wake them. I never thought my fellow Terrians were all that terrifying, no matter how they could bend or extend their limbs. There was another, I think. He calls it the Rake. They might seem terrifying, but they are actually very gentle. They were the ones who designed the tanks and maintained them and all the human life support systems, using their elongated fingers. If he does wake up, I could show him that they aren't terrifying monsters. But if he doesn't wake up and continues to sleep, I fear for what might one day happen to him. If humans suddenly start aging again, he would turn to dust and bones after the hundreds of years he has been asleep. Thinking of all that, and the hundreds of other things that could go wrong, I fear not only for the man, but for all of humanity.